thing on? I want him to hear.
This is the pregame show, your early morning shot of sports on 95.7 The Game.
Come on!
What's unacceptable, Nick in San Jose? Not this show. Come on now. Pre-game show, baby. Joe Spadoni, 95.7 The Game. You know what time it is. It's 5 a.m. on a Tuesday, which, as we all know, it's been established on this program, if you're from the South, worst day of the week. Not even close, bar none. In the radio world, and a lot of people might say it's Monday, it's always Tuesday. You get back into the flow of things. You haven't seen your coworkers. Sometimes you're happy to see them, sometimes not. I know Sam's always happy to see me in the morning time, zooming past me on his scooter. He's back better than ever on the roadways. By the way, when I was scooting in this morning to the building, I just saw on one of the buildings, I don't know where it was, off Battery, off Market, whatever. But just an entire blue paint can just unloaded on a side of a building. Someone must have done it last night because it was still fresh. Someone blew themselves. It's tough. No? Sam wanted to let that one breathe for a little bit?
No, I want to chip in with something, but then you drop that one. It's like, I can't top that. So no, you take your 4 and continue your show.
Thank you. That's really stealing it from Arrested Development. Those that know. Those that don't. Welcome in. If you're just getting off work, getting ready for work, getting ready for school, this is the pregame show, Joe Spadoni. I got you for the next hour before handing it off to the morning roast, Bonte Hill and Joe Shasky. They're fired up. We had baseball last night in the Bay. I don't think anyone noticed or cared, though. You know, talking to Sam Lubman, who you just heard there, Garlic Fries and Baseball Guys. He's the host of that pod alongside Joe Shasky. Find that wherever you find your podcasts, anywhere. Also, download the Odyssey app and favorite 95.7 The Game. You can find that. You can find this show. You can take us all across our great nation. And you can find other Odyssey apps as well. Music, games, what have you. Actually, don't quote me on the games part, but definitely music. You can also hit us up on Twitch and YouTube, powered by First NorCal Credit Union. Search 95.7 The Game, like and subscribe there. But Sam Lubman, I asked him this morning. I was like, hey, did you go to the A's game last night? A's Giants, Bay Bridge Series. You know, they always have that 2 games little set. One in Oakland, one in San Francisco. It was in Oakland last night. And he's like, no. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah. Like, yeah. I think everyone did. I didn't even know what was happening. You wouldn't know it from the A's perspective. They just not promoting anything.
Almost like it's planned that way.
Yeah, interesting. Huh. And I saw about, 1,000 Giants fans there yesterday, if that. I would expect the same this week when the A's play host to the Guardians on Thursday. 707. I'm shocked if they even reach 10,000. Would be shocked. I think they're doing a boycott thing too. I think that's what they're hoping to do on opening day. Make their voices heard. And I feel like they made their voices heard last season in a big, big way. Sell the team chants. Echoed throughout baseball. Hell, it was echoing in games which the A's weren't even playing in. So keep an eye on that. We'll be talking about the A's and their situation all season long. But the Giants, they got the win last night, 4-1 over Oakland. Jordan Hicks, that's the story, though. 5 innings, 1 walk, 10 Ks. Yeah, I'd say he's ready. Now, going up against that A's lineup, which better, I'm not going to, poo-poo on that team. Geloff, legit. Young player. Brent Rooker had 30 bombs last year. Esteury Ruiz, he's going to steal 100 bases this year. Lock it in. And they got other guys. There you go. And I about Stephen A there. And them boys. Shea Langoliers. There you go. Don't ask me to name any more A's. I can't do it. I can't. Go look at that graphic from 5 years from now when they're in Oakland or in Las Vegas, and they'll have all the names and all their averages and whatnot. But the big story in baseball today and yesterday and all season long is going to be Shohei Ohtani. And he spoke yesterday to the media, had a statement, didn't take questions, obviously hired a new translator and discussed his old one, Ippei Mizuhara. And I'll play some of that for you. But as I was watching the whole thing, I was like, this is a statement. I don't know how much I could put stock into it. It was pre-scripted. I'm sure he went through his lawyers. I'm sure he went through everything. No questions were allowed. So the nitty-gritty of this story is still up in the air. And I don't know what to think, to be honest with you. I don't believe anything. I'm taking it with a grain of salt at this point. I was talking to Shasky last week when I was filling in for Bonte on the Morning Roast, and I was like, I'd like to believe him at his word because I'm a benefit of the doubt kind of guy. That's just the person I am. I try to look for the good in people, and that's a rarity, I think, in the sports talk media landscape in this era of hot take and knee-jerk reaction and instant stuff. It's not the what we do. And he's a Dodger. Oh, he's a Dodger. I'm talking in San Francisco, I am aware. But again, I look for the good in people, and maybe he was helping his boy out and got mixed up, and maybe that still is the case. And you know what? He just had to pivot in a new direction. Anyways, here's Shohei discussing yesterday the summation of what has happened.
正直ショックという、言葉が正しいとは思わないですし、それ以上のうまく言葉では表せないような、感覚でこの1週間ぐらいはずっと過ごしてきたので、今はそれをうまく言葉にするのは、難しいなと思っています。
And to summarize how I'm feeling right now, I'm just beyond shocked. It's really hard to verbalize how I am feeling at this point. And the season's going to start, so I'm going to obviously let my lawyers handle matters from here on out. And I am completely assisting in all investigations that are taking place right now. I'm looking forward to focusing on the season. I'm glad that we had this opportunity to talk. And I'm sure there'll be continuing investigations moving forward.
I had you in the first half, didn't I? You thought I was just going to go straight Japanese on the audience here. And I know I have a very diverse audience on YouTube, on Twitch, across the road. Maybe I have some Japanese listeners. Make yourself known, 888-957-9570. But obviously, new translator for Ohtani there, talking about it. And my favorite part about that thing, there's certain, noises that are just universal in all languages. The sigh early on in this one just let me know all I needed to know about it.
正直ショックという、言葉が
I just, yeah. That's all you got to say about it. This whole entire thing, that's how the Dodgers are feeling as a franchise right now, having this hang over their head. More from Ohtani. Again, speaking yesterday to everyone, did not take questions, just had a statement. I'm sure there will be a time and place for the questions and answers. Well, you would hope so. The league is investigating. And here is Shohei saying he never bet on baseball.
まず初めに、僕自身は、何かにかけたりとか、誰かに代わって、そのスポーツイベントにかけたりとか、それをまた頼んだり、っていうことはないですし、僕の口座からブックメーカーに対して、誰かに送金を依頼したことももちろん全く、ありません。
So I never bet on baseball or any other sports, or never have asked somebody to do it on my behalf. And I have never went through a bookmaker to bet on sports.
本当に数日前まで、彼が、そういうことをしていたっていうのも、全く知りませんでした。
Up until a couple of days ago, I didn't know that this was happening.
Do we believe that? That last part? Unless this entire thing was concocted by Ippei, former translator of Shohei, unless this entire thing was concocted and he had access, joint access to whatever bank account that he was using, and he has full say on everything. Like, I keep going back to that ESPN article from Tisha Thompson, the ESPN investigative reporter, and it's just, I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around the notion that he did not know that this was happening. It's very difficult for me to wrap my head around that. Here's more about the theft, quote unquote, from Ippei. Here's Shohei Ohtani.
で、一平さんは僕にこういった取材の依頼があるということをまず、僕には話していなかったし、僕の方にそういう連絡はまず来ていなかったということと、まず初めに代理人には、一平さんは僕と話して分かったのは、一平さんにではなく、某友人の借金の肩代わりとして、支払ったというふうに、僕の代理人も含めてみんなに話してました。
So Ippei never revealed to me that there was this media inquiry, and to the representatives in my camp, Ippei told to the media and to my representatives that I, on behalf of a friend, paid off debt.
Part 2.
Upon further questioning, it was revealed that it was actually, in fact, Ippei who was in debt, and told my representatives that I was paying off those debt.
そしてこれらは全く全てが嘘だったということですね。
And all of this has been a complete lie. So Ippei obviously lied about, basically didn't tell me about the media inquiry. So Ippei has been telling everybody around that Ippei has been communicating with Shohei on all of this account to my representative, to the team, and that hasn't been true.
Will the truth come out on this entire thing? I don't know. Does it? With his sort of stuff? It is difficult. I'm not going to lie. This entire thing of, he did this or they said this or yada, yada, yada. Was it a theft? Was it, looking out for your homie and covering for them? All of this being used via a translator is also quite difficult if you are not a native speaker of Japanese. I'm not going to lie. It just is. It adds a layer to, the level of distrust that whether you're in the media, whether you're a fan of baseball, whether you're any level in this, if we're talking about the integrity of the game and trying to, get to the bottom of this, it just adds another layer of potential untrustworthiness. Now, I'm saying that's right or wrong. I'm not here saying because the guy doesn't speak English that he's all of a sudden even more, suspicious. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying it makes this entire situation a little more difficult for Major League Baseball. Because if you're Rob Manfred, if you're, who was it, Tony Clark of the MLB Players Association, this whole thing is layered in controversy. And now you have to trust the guy's translator, part 2, because translator part 1 supposedly is a fraud. So there's just layers and layers of just what the hell is going on here in the Shohei Ohtani saga. And that's what I am calling it. It is a Shohei Ohtani saga. And we're going to see what happens going forward. That's all we can do. Let the quote-unquote facts reveal themselves and see what Shohei says about him, see what Rob Manfred find in their findings. If they find nothing and they get swept under the rug, would I be surprised? No, I would not be. If he gets fined, if he misses games, would I be shocked? No, I would not be. This entire situation's kind of, at least for me, kind of unprecedented. I understand Pete Rose and that whole thing. And I saw Pete Rose talking. Someone sent it in the chat. Oh, I wish I had a translator to put all the blame on. Well, Pete, you're doing it as a manager. Right? And also, Pete Rose, I'm not here questioning the character of one Shohei Ohtani and what he's done in his personal life. I'll leave it at that. Look into it if you feel like. I don't wish to talk about that on this show today. All right. Moving past Shohei Ohtani, and we can continue to take your calls and texts on it, 888-957-9570, 510 on the Comcast Business text line. This is Super Shady. Say that 10 times fast. My spider sense is going off. Translator took the fall. Wow. 510? Spider-Man? The original Spider-Man was only a Spider-Man. Shout out Matt Steinmetz. And you know what? Spidey, I think you got bigger fish to fry in Oakland and in the Bay Area and San Francisco, all right? There's a crisis out there. Crises. I don't need you worrying about gambling. Go stick to the Kingpin, although maybe he's behind this whole thing. Green Goblin, all right? Venom, he might be out there. Didn't the Venom movie take place in San Francisco, Sammy? All right? Tom Hardy, he might be roaming these streets. I don't know. But the spider sense is going off for the 510. All right. Again, the whole thing's very fishy. Just ask Priest in Palo Alto. Am I right, Priest?
This fish is stinking from the head up.
He wasn't even talking about Ohtani there. Can you guess what Priest in Palo Alto was talking about there?
This fish is stinking from the head up.
By the way, I'm convinced Priest is actually Dave Stewart's burner. You can't convince me otherwise. Same voice, same cadence, the passion. Maybe he's just very passionate about Golden State Warriors basketball. That's what he was referring to right there. This Golden State Warriors team.
This fish is stinking from the head up.
Houston Rockets, by the way, half game back, officially. Handled the Portland Trailblazers last night. And at 36-35, they are just one loss off, I should say, of the Golden State Warriors. At the 10th spot currently, got the Lakers at the 9th seed, Suns, Mavericks, Kings, Clippers, Pelicans, T-Wolves, Thunder, defending champion, Denver, Nuggets, right on top at 51-21. They're 9-1 in their last 10. They won 4. The Nuggets, while we have our trivial, conversations here at the station, can they make the play-in? Should they make the play-in? The Nuggets are just like playing. We have actual goals and aspirations here of going back-to-back. Jokic winning 3 out of the last 4 MVPs. That's what everyone's talking about. That's what everyone's worrying about. We're not worrying about a play-in game. A play-in game you'll have to win and then win another play-in. So it is funny taking a macro view of this entire thing. And the Warriors, for years and years, just literally 2 seasons ago, we were talking about a championship. Last year, people thought they can go on a championship run. And now we're discussing the possibility of not even making the play-in game. I was listening to all the shows, all the different topics yesterday. Why are we talking about Steph minutes? Why are we doing this? It's just the team isn't good enough right now, yada, 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 all this sort of stuff. I was like, yeah, fans are frustrated. We're the flagship of the Golden State Warriors, and fans want to be upset. They have the right to be upset. I want to hear their frustrations because the fans do pay money. They are upset. I thought Bonte and Joe had a great conversation about it. I thought Joe had a great perspective being a fan in this. Bonte, obviously a fan of the team. He obviously works for the team too. He is aware of that. And he had a more measured take and be like, listen, yes, the fans matter, but at the end of the day, it's all about the Benjamins. And the Benjamins that are going to the owners, going to the players, it's the television money, all the rights deals, all that. I understood Joe's perspective as well. I'm paying for this. We've been spoiled. I get it. But also, it's not working. And I don't want to continue to pay money for a bad product. Something that Governor Joe Lacob might be inclined to listen to as well this offseason. So I'm very curious to see these last few weeks and to see the aftermath of this Golden State Warriors season. Because don't get it twisted. We'll pivot to the Giants slowly But if the Warriors flame out here in the next couple weeks, hell, having a 95-7 the game summit, I'd just have it on a mountain. We can get all of Dub Nation to come to that summit. Whatever that is, K2, whatever that's called. Mount Fuji. Kilimanjaro. Doesn't matter where it is. The aftermath of this Warriors season is going to be something we've never seen before. Ever in Bay Area. When it comes to speculation about futures of Hall of Famers, this franchise, championship window, which feels like it's all but closed right now. March 26, 2024, the year of our Lord, 5:21 a.m. Pregame show, Joe Spadoni, 888-957-9570. Here's Isaiah Thomas. Zeke talking on NBA TV the other night about the Lakers and the Warriors in the play.
I think they do hold on because of their experience. Yeah. But I'm telling you, them Houston Rockets, they coming and they playing hard. And you know, the Warriors and the Lakers, the last 2 years, they should be thanking Adam Silver for the play-in.
Say it now.
Yeah.
I said, hey, man, Deacon Isaiah over there preach right now. Say that again now, sir.
Yeah, they should be thanking Adam Silver for the play-in because
thank you.
If there was no play-in,
we're not talking about this.
These two teams would be out of the playoffs,
which is crazy
for the last 2 years. You know, and it's crazy. And but to answer the question about the Rockets, hey, they won 8 straight, playing great basketball. Yeah, they're confident, they're young. And they're taking on all comers. So Golden State in LA, there's pressure to keep winning because there's somebody knocking on the door and they're not going away. Those Rockets aren't going away.
I met the criteria to be selected, but I wasn't.
That's going to be the Warriors if they miss the plan right there.
I met the criteria to be selected, but I wasn't.
The Houston Rockets have won 9 in a row. 9-1 in their last 10. And they're a half game back. And they take on the Warriors next Thursday, is it, in Houston? Oh, my God. That game should be on primetime. It's 5 o'clock. Like, that should be, it's a Thursday, I know. And was it Wednesday, Friday now? They have Saturday, Sunday. So probably won't be, but we'll be locked and loaded on it right here on your home for Golden State Warriors basketball, 95-7 the game. How are we feeling about this season, Warriors fans? Like, when we came into this season, and Sam and I have been kind of talking about this, like championship aspirations, was that legitimate this season? Let's be honest with ourselves. Was that a legitimate expectation for this team heading into the season? Winning a championship. Well, when you got Steph, when you got Clay, when you got Dre, you know, you got those three. Hey, if Wiggins can be are we holding on to the past? Is that the only reason that they were having championship aspirations? Because if you just watch their level of play in recent memory, which is last season and in the playoffs specifically last season, when you needed an Harrison Barnes missed 3-point shot, when you needed a 50-burger from Stephen Curry. That's what it took just to get out of the first round. The league has caught up. And I'm not just singling out the Warriors in this conversation. I'm singling out the Lakers. Honestly, I'm singling out the Phoenix Suns. Kevin Durant, LeBron James, Stephen Curry. Those names ring a bell? Yeah, they've dominated the sport of basketball for the last decade. It's a new era in the NBA and in the Western Conference. Jokic, Edwards, Gilgeous-Alexander. Get used to those names. Those are going to be the names that are dominating the next decade in the West. The time of Stephen Curry, LeBron James, and Kevin Durant's over. It's done. Kaput. If you disagree, 888-957-9570. But this era has shifted in a big way. With the Nuggets winning the championship last season and what's gone on this season. Western Conference, top 3 teams. 51-21, the Nuggets. 49-21. Thunder, T-Wolves 49-22. Oh, and by the way, the New Orleans Pelicans, don't look now. They're the 4th spot. They're 8-2 in their last 10. They're hot. And all of a sudden, they have home court. And wouldn't that be a fun 4-5 matchup in the West? Pelicans, Clippers, that's what it's looking like. I can't wait for these playoffs and play-ins, man. Can't wait. 888-957-9570. Also can't wait for this break, because on the other side, John Lynch speaks on Brandon Ayuk, plus it's lying season in the NFL and at the owners' meetings. I'll explain on the other side. It's the pregame show, Joe Spadoni, 95.7 The Game.
Rao's homemade pasta sauce is made with tomatoes grown for 874 hours under the Italian sun, then slow simmer.
behind the curtain real quick. Thank you, Tim Roy. Pregame show, Joe Spadoni, 95.7 The Game. I'm going to get into the Niners here in a second. John Lynch speaks about Brandon Ayuk. It's lying season in the NFL at the owners' meetings. I'll explain why. But during March Madness and during basketball playoffs and all this sort of stuff, if you have TNT on at a station or at your house and you turn it on in the morning, you're going to see a series called Charmed or Supernatural, but it's mostly Charmed. Alyssa Milano, Holly Marie Combs, amongst others, Shannon Doherty, right? Those are the actresses.
Rose McGowan in there too.
Rose McGowan, thank you.
Another Charmed fan behind
the fact that we know all of these, there you go. But we know all these because we've been watching this show for years and years now because it's on every morning at 5:30 a.m. And I'm just watching some of these episodes in the background while I'm doing the show. By the way, the most ridiculous outfits you've ever seen. Damn near wearing bikinis the entire time. I guess that was a thing in 2001 and 2. I think it's supposed to take place in San Francisco, so I don't know why they felt the need to do that. I guess it just wouldn't sell if they were wearing sweatshirts and hoodies and sweatpants. I would still watch, but I guess that doesn't sell. Not that there's anything wrong with rocking the bikinis either. It's fine. If you have the body, flaunt it. I do not, so I do not. But watching the stunts they are doing, it's like the Matrix probably just came out and they're trying to copy the moves like it's Keanu Reeves learning Kung Fu. I know Kung Fu. And then there's these horrible graphics animations. I say all that to say, God bless technology and where it's at today with CGI and stuff like that. But I kind of miss the good old days of bad choreography mixed with bad graphics. It just makes me nostalgic. I don't know. Something about it. Speaking of nostalgia, that's what 49ers fans hope they don't have with Brandon Ayuk. What do I mean by that? Well, you hope he doesn't move on. And that the only thing you remember is, this past season when he was one of the best wide receivers in the NFL, he was second team All-Pro, and he was a baller. You don't want that. You want him to stay here forever if you're the 49ers. And we understand that doesn't happen. What does NFL stand for? Not for long. Whether that's leaving the league, whether that's moving on from another team. It is what it is. And Brandon Ayuk and the 49ers are, doing their negotiations, right? Playing hardball. We saw this with Deebo Samuel. He didn't sign till late into the process. Mini camps, training camp. They finally got him in. Although he was out of shape, it took him a while to get back into shape. And it was a whole thing all year. Kind of had a down year. Juxtapose that to last year, Deebo was a baller. Brandon Ayuk's career, though, at the 49ers didn't start off as hot as Deebo's did. He was in the doghouse. He had to earn the reps. He had to earn the playing time. And he did all that. And he's been a consummate professional throughout his career. I have not heard outside of that doghouse thing, which, if we're being honest, that's just standard protocol for players and coaches in adjusting from college to the pro level. Some players can adjust, some can't. Some need to get humbled, some don't. It is what it is. That's with every workplace. And Brandon Ayuk ate a slice of humble pie with whipped cream on top, and now he is one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. But he tweeted something out, or I guess posted on his story yesterday. It was an emoji. Actually, a couple of emojis. And I am a, emoji speaker. I speak emoji. I'm fluent in it. And I'm pulling it up right now because I sent it and I can't pull it up on the computer. So pulling out my cellular device. And by the way, Darren Rovell, 920, Morning Roast. Not going to want to miss that. Darren Rovell knows all things business of sports, revenue, all that. I'm sure he can also speak to this Shohei Ohtani situation and what's going on there. Plus, we have another development when it comes to sports and gambling and professionalism. The Toronto Raptors' Jonte Porter. The NBA has opened an investigation into this two-way player amid gambling allegations. Something Raptors coach Darko Rajokovic said he became fully aware of before the team's game on Monday night. So Darren Rovell 920 there. But back to Brandon Ayuk in emojis, more importantly, because I speak emoji. Cash symbol, yelling emoji, cow, poop, walking. And as you all know, I'm a great decipherer of these things. Money talks, cow poop walks. That's contract negotiations in today's world, people. Money talks, cow poop walks. John Lynch, your thoughts on that and the Ayuk Pittsburgh Steelers rumors? Well, they weren't really rumors. There's more Brandon Ayuk tweeting at Mike Tomlin saying we look alike, but people might infer, people might take that like, oh, is he trying to go elsewhere? Oh, he said all this other stuff. His family was talking about in Vegas. Oh, he played for Antonio Pierce in college at Arizona State. Forks up. All these different rumors. John Lynch, owners meetings, Orlando. Your thoughts?
I was just with Mike Tomlin and, at the Michigan Pro Day, and Mike coached me, and so we're very close. And he's like, bro, what's going on? Like, I promise you, we got nothing, and nothing's going on there. We're actively talking with Brandon, trying to figure something out. And, I always talk, we have a good history of working with the guys we want to get done to get something done, and it takes two sides. So can we do that? We'll see. There's a number of different directions, that it could go, but we appreciate the heck out of Brandon and who he is as a player, and we want him to be a part of the Niners, and so we're going to work towards making that a reality.
I mean, nothing there that sounded out of the ordinary. I mean, we want him to be in the Niners, but he also wants to want that too. And John Lynch also said that he would be comfortable, and the 49ers would be comfortable letting him play out that fifth-year option. Well, if I'm Brandon Ayuk, I am not comfortable doing that. I want to get paid now, because if I get hurt next year, then I'm screwed. Then I'm in cow poop emoji, right? So this has a lot of turns and stops still to happen in this negotiation. But right now, it seems like they're not really talking too much. They're worlds apart, if I'm just reading between the lines. Brandon Ayuk's just like, show me the money, Jerry Maguire. And should they pay him? Should they look to trade Brandon Ayuk? I want to ask you guys at 888-957-9570. If you could get a first-round pick in this year's draft for Brandon Ayuk, you doing it? If it's in the teens, 20s, is that good enough for you? You got Debo. You got Kittle still. You've got McCaffrey. I mean, it's not like your offense still wouldn't be loaded. You'd be missing an explosive and dynamic route runner in Brandon Ayuk. But, you got to make tough calls. The Chiefs lost Tyreek Hill. They didn't skip a beat. Well, their quarterback is Patrick Mahomes. But you got Brock Purdy. Do you feel confident in Brock Purdy elevating talent around him? Everyone wants to talk about him as a top 5 quarterback. That's what happens if you're a top 5 quarterback. You can't keep everyone around you. You are going to get the Tom Brady treatment. Tom Brady, outside of the year with Randy Moss and a cup of coffee with Antonio Brown and Mike Evans and Chris Godwin late in his career, you look at that New England tenure, he never had a top 5 wide receiver. Now he had a top 5 and number 1 tight end in Rob Gronkowski, and that helps a lot. Niners also have that in George Kittle. He had Danny Amendola. He had Wes Welker. He had Julian Edelman. All very good. Tiers there would go Welker, Edelman, Amendola, but all slot guys, right? No one you're riding home about. And then go with the running backs, Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis's of the world. Like, this is the price you pay for sustained excellence in the NFL. Not everyone is going to be happy. It just doesn't work like that. And if the Niners and if Kyle Shanahan and if John Lynch want to have that sustained success going forward, hard truths. Maybe moving off Brandon Ayuk is the smart decision. 888-957-9570. Love to have your thoughts on that. We're up against it. One more break before handing it off to Bonte Hill and Joe Shasky. And I mentioned it earlier. And you heard from John Lynch there live from Orlando, Florida for the NFL owners meetings. Players, coaches, GMs, owners get together for rule changes. Everyone's there. And you know what that means? It's lying season as the NFL draft approaches. I'll explain on the other side. Pre-game show, Joe Spadoni, 95.7 The Game.
Life doesn't stop when the economy is uncertain. The market might not care you have a wedding to plan or a kid to put through school. And inflation doesn't know you've got a family to feed. But Bank of America does, and is here to help. With digital tools to help you save and local experts in the Bay Area, you can keep life moving forward the way you need.
to the Pregame Show on 95.7 The Game.
Jesse Chavez is still pitching in Major League Baseball?
I said that same thing the other day.
Guy's got to be 50 years old. A's legend, Jesse Chavez.
Wasn't he like 50 years old when he was on the A's?
Yes. Pregame show, Joe Spadoni. Oh, Sam Lubman there. Garlic fries and baseball, guys. It's a good point. It's always funny looking at certain pitchers like physiques and stuff like that, and it's all in the throwing motion, but Jesse Chavez looked like he's a $140 soaking wet. But yet he's still kicking. He's still grinding out there. Let me pull up his age right now. He's got to be in his early 40s. He's 40. There you go. 40 years old. Been pitching in the big leagues since 2008 when he was a Pittsburgh Pirate. He's played, oh my God. Has he played for every single team in baseball? Pirates, Braves, Royals, Jays, A's, Dodgers, Angels, Rangers, Cubs, Braves, Cubs, Braves, Angels, Braves. Won a World Series in 2021. Good for him. He's almost at 1,000 career strikeouts. Almost. Get up there. Come on. Jess, let's go. The pride of San Gabriel, California. Baseball season is approaching. Opening day around Major League Baseball. We did have the little Seoul Classic Seoul Series in South Korea last week, and that was overshadowed by the Shohei Ohtani news of the quote-unquote alleged theft, the gambling situation with his interpreter, and yesterday, Ohtani made a statement to the media, to everyone, to Major League Baseball, did not take questions, and this was the summary.
正直ショックという、言葉が正しいとは思わないですし、それ以上のうまく言葉では表せないような、感覚でこの1週間ぐらいはずっと過ごしてきたので、今はそれをうまく言葉にするのは、難しいなと思っています。
And to summarize how I'm feeling right now, I'm just beyond shocked. It's really hard to verbalize how I am feeling at this point. And the season's going to start, so I'm going to obviously let my lawyers handle matters from here on out. And I am completely assisting in all investigations that are taking place right now. I'm looking forward to focusing on the season. I'm glad that we had this opportunity to talk. And I'm sure there'll be continuing investigations moving forward.
I like the little fade out there. It was a little clean. All right. So we'll monitor the situation, this Shohei Ohtani saga, as I am dubbing it, because it's going to be long. It's going to be lengthy. There's going to be a lot of words, a lot of talking. A lot of people are saying. Give myself a 2 for Donald there. That's fine. All right. Back to football. Because we were talking about Brandon Ayuk last segment. I said, would it be the worst thing if they traded him for a first-round pick? 888-957-9570. Although I just got this text. 650, Comcast Biz text line. Hell no, not doing it. Let's not forget the Buckner trade. Do we really feel like this could be a DeForest Buckner situation? Brandon Ayuk, trading him would be like trading DeForest Buckner? I'm not so sure about that. Are you going to regret losing the defensive tackle in DeForest Buckner more so than Brandon Ayuk, who, again, second team All-Pro, was one of the best wide receivers last year in the NFL? You still have Debo, you still have McCaffrey, and you still have George Kittle. It's pretty damn good. And if you needed to, you can address this wide receiver situation this year because it is supposedly a deep wide receiver draft class. Now, what does that mean? diddly poo because I've been told, the quarterback class of whatever that was, the Trey Lance was that 2021, 2020, whatever it was. That was the greatest quarterback class of all time. Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, Mac Jones, Trey Lance, Zach Wilson. All of them are busts. Trevor Lawrence, we'll see. Hasn't lived up to the hype. Just it is what it is. He has his moments where he looks like, oh, wow, that's impressive. And then he has moments where it's just like, what the hell was that? So it is always a risk in the draft. I'm not saying it's not. But scared money don't make money. And right now, Brandon Ayuk wants a lot of that. And I don't know if the 49ers are willing to, give him that much. If they're saying they're comfortable letting him play out his fifth-year option, and Ayuk's like, hell no, maybe you got to trade him. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. Real quick, we got 5 minutes left in the show. I love lying season because we're a month away from the NFL draft. I think we're a month Thursday. I think that's when it starts. Officially, a month away. J.J. McCarthy, national champion, Michigan quarterback. He's getting a lot of hype. A lot of hype. I wonder why. Because you still have the top three quarterbacks in this draft. It's Caleb, it's Drake May or Jaden Daniels, and right now it's looking like Jaden Daniels. And then there's a big drop-off. Then you got McCarthy. But now they're saying there's not a drop-off. Now they're saying J.J. McCarthy could go to Washington second overall. What? Just ask Tom Pelissero.
It's been really interesting because everybody's always trying to figure out, especially at the top of the draft, what the other teams are doing. When I've had conversations here with executives for other teams who know Adam Peters well, know the situation well, the most popular answer for what they do at number 2 is J.J. McCarthy.
Tom Pelissero, again, their NFL insider for NFL Network, live from Orlando, Florida. Well, they were live. I guess that doesn't really make sense when I play that. J.J. McCarthy over Jaden Daniels. It's the biggest cap of the year. My nose actually got longer listening to that because Pinocchio is loosely based on my life as an Italian, blue eyes and a long nose. Come on. Washington is not drafting J.J. freaking McCarthy second overall. Now, a team like the Raiders or the Vikings might like that because that means a Drake May or Jaden Daniels would fall. So maybe, just maybe, other coaches and GMs are trying to hype this guy up. Just ask Antonio Pierce and his thoughts on J.J. McCarthy.
I think it's a very talented group. I mean, we interviewed most of those guys at the Combine, had great conversations with them. J.J. McCarthy, you're talking about a national champion, a winner. So I don't know how he's not in the top 3, if you want to be honest.
Well, if it was just about being a winner, Jimmy Garoppolo would still be a starter in this league. He was a winner last year, technically, with the Raiders. 4-3 as a starting quarterback? Come on, guys. What are we doing? I'm not buying this at all for a second. J.J. McCarthy is not going in the top 5 as I pull up the NFL draft order right now. And again, we're almost a month away from the NFL draft. Is that going to be back in New York? Is that in Philly? Where is that this year? NFL draft location 2024. It was in Kansas City, right? It was in Detroit. Oh, that's cool. There you go. Hopefully it's not at a Ford Field where they found a eaten dead body in there. Was that last week? I think Bonte said that in the thread. Check that guy's kneecaps or woman's. So you got Chicago by way of Carolina. First overall pick. It's going to be Caleb Williams. Then you got Washington, New England, Arizona, who would love to trade out of that. If J.J. McCarthy really goes in the top 3 picks, Arizona is just foaming at the mouth. They are excited about that. Because then you got a team like, I don't know, Minnesota, Denver, Vegas. They're trying to trade up to get either Daniels or Drake May, depending on what New England does with the number 3 overall pick. And who's the head coach over now in New England? New England. They just changed it. I wanted to say the hoodie. It's Gerard Mayo. There you go. How could I forget his the coach's picture? My guy was just out there in a plain blue t-shirt. Kind of respected it, to be honest. Just chilling. But depending on what they do, and he was saying, we're open for business. I don't believe that either. I don't believe that. I just don't see a king's ransom type of quarterback in this draft. And if you're going to do it, it would be for Caleb Williams out of USC. But the Bears are getting him. They already moved off Justin Fields. That's their guy. Lock it in. They probably even took I don't even think you can get odds on that anymore. It's the lock of the century. Caleb Williams going to Chicago Bears. You're going to hear people try to say, maybe it's Jaden Daniels. Oh, maybe it's this. They're all just trying to get content up there. And I respect it. I get it. But don't you dare try to tell me that J.J. McCarthy is going second overall. Adam Peters, guy's a maestro already at this, trying to get people to bite on that. I think he's going to do great in Washington. Dan Quinn, we'll see.
Number 2.
Thank you. Speaking of that, that's coming up next off air. Morning Roast. Bonte Hill, Joe Shasky, 95.7 The Game.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game. KG.